Our first stop in Mexico is Puerto Chiapas. For a port outside of a small town, we were surprised at the money they had put into it to attract tourists. They had a very nicely maintained welcome center, which included a pool and a bar. The first stop takes us to a small school in the rural community of Alhito Miguel Alemán. Part of the fees for this excursion helped go to support various schools and communities in the area. Even though it was a holiday, they were eager to come and greet us.
They are in first grade. They are on the age of 6 years old. I want to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Rosemary. In this school, we only have 2 ladies teaching. The rest of the 6th grade, they are men.
In exchange for candy and school supplies the cruise ship provided us, the children gave us pictures they had drawn in preparation for our visit. The 6th grade class then presented us with a show of traditional Mexican dances. We then moved a few blocks down to the church and community center, where we were greeted by the priest, the only English-speaking adult in town. Our lunch was handmade by the women of the community. It consisted of a corn tamale, with chicken, raisins, and plantain, wrapped in banana leaves and covered in a mole sauce. Only a few cruise ships visit here every year, so it's really a special event. It was obvious our visit and support of the community was very much appreciated, and you can really tell the pride they had in it. Everything was clean and well kept. Our next stop is one of the many banana processing plants that dot the area. We're only about 150 meters from the Guatemalan border, where most of the field workers live.
The heart is the life of the plant, of the fruit. So he's the one in charge to form the cluster. At the week number 15, the cluster is going to be ripening naturally. So if we want to do an exportation to USA, we have to cut our cluster at the age of 13. Plus 1 week of transportation, we reach week number 14. So I have 1 week to put my fruit in the market.
These tracks run throughout the field, where workers cut the bunches and place them on hooks. They are then pulled by hand to the processing plant.
This is what I call cushion or shelf, whatever name you want to apply to this. This cushion is the one that helped me to carry the fruit since the field to here. How do they accommodate? If you see some like this. What is this? First line is doing this, cutting a hand. This is a hand, but it's not a perfect hand. Second line, they will take care of it, trying to make from this hand a perfect hand. Just remember, a perfect hand between 4 to 8 fingers, no more, no less, okay? At the end, when they reach the last lady right there, she's gonna have a weight of 42 pounds if she follows those sizes.
These are the rejects. They're either sold in the local market or used as animal feed. The bananas are sprayed with a disinfectant before they're packaged. The women here get paid by the box and can make up to $25 a day. Each box weighs about 40 pounds and is sold for about $4. Back at the boat, we visited the bar and watched some local dancers. As we left Puerto Chiapas, we watched the surf crash against the seawall. Having a little time in the afternoon, we sat down for some mango daiquiris, while Marianne got caught up on the log. Our second stop in Mexico is Hatalco, where we're booked on a half-day snorkeling tour. Here we are docked with the Regatta again. She's been with us at every port since we went through the Panama Canal together. It was a short boat ride to the beach where we'd be snorkeling from. The snorkeling was okay, but nothing to write home about. There was a cave that we were supposed to be able to swim into, but the tide wasn't right. It didn't look like we were going to miss much anyway. On the beach was a small restaurant with high-priced drinks for the tourists. This parrot at the bar entertained us until our boat returned. With half the day left, we decided to walk into the town of La Crucita, supposedly about a 15-minute walk. It ended up taking us close to 40. But once we got there, it was nice to get away from the tourists. We found a small restaurant selling beers for $1.50 each, and they came with chips and this assortment of salsas. Another day at sea, and I was chosen to be one of 3 judges in a cooking contest. They bribed us with drinks and chocolates while they did their cooking. The contest was between the hotel manager and 25-year chef and his Cirque du Soleil chef against 2 chefs from the Pinnacle Grill. Their mandatory ingredients were salmon, potato, and arugula.
Based on what you've seen so far, do you think that either team is in the lead?
Yeah.
They're both doing good. They're both doing good.
So the key when you're making gnocchi is to work the flour as little as possible because you want that nice fluffy pillow finish.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to take it.
Our chefs are starting to plate, looks like. Our mouths are watering down here.
Smells good.
Alright guys, present your dishes.
Orange and hazelnut, I appreciate it.
White wine inside and lemon bourbon sauce. You're kind of sauteing, Mark. So very good.
She says it's very good. Well, what is your reaction to the flavor of the dish?
It's very nutty flavor.
I'm sitting that most back in these.
Basically, it's got overpowering.
Salmon's very nice and then potatoes are okay. Alright guys, why don't we finish it up and we are going to taste Kate's and David's
Ladies and
dish.
gentlemen, we are eating hazelnut crusted salmon. We have some potato gnocchi, sauteed with a little bit of cauliflower, red pepper, and the sauce is an orange ginger bourbon.
While the first dish was okay, this one was just incredible.
Alright.
He just does. Unexpectedly.
Alright, reel it in a little bit.
Incredible sauce.
Should be. They practice it every week.
We're trying to make better sauce.
Nothing bad to say. Okay, now we would like
I'm good.
Troy and Arun to win. I'd like you to stay seated. Alright everybody, I think we all know who the victors are. Let's hear it for Kate and David.
The chefs were all surprisingly entertaining, and I'd really enjoy doing that again. We finished off the afternoon with the movie Lincoln. After another mango daiquiri in the crow's nest, it was off to Toledo for more food. Our last stop in Mexico is Puerto Vallarta. As we head onto the dock, there are a number of locals waiting for the tourists to get off the cruise ship. This man here was charging $5 to take a picture and sit with his donkey.
He does look like he wants to go to sleep.
There was also a number of people with parrots. You can tell Marianne isn't really a bird person. These people were trying to get visitors to sign up for their sea lion tour. Yes, that's a real sea lion. Once we got on our big 2-story party boat, holds about 150, but it was only 40 of us there today, we headed south along the Puerto Vallarta waterfront. These rocks were called the Arches. They're a favorite fishing spot and now a bird sanctuary for the pelicans. This was our first stop for snorkeling. It was a very beautiful area, and we were told we were going to see a lot of unique wildlife. We really didn't see much of anything. The water was pretty cloudy, but we did see a spotted pufferfish we had never seen before. After a short time in the water, we dried off and had lunch at the buffet on the boat. We soon arrived at the small town of Yalpa. This is a small fishing village, and where our tour guide calls home. As we climb through the narrow walkways on our path through the city, we come across a woodworking shop. Here they're turning rosewood bowls for the tourists. It did cross our minds on whether they were actually made here. These are little miniature coconuts. If you open them up, they look and taste just like a regular coconut. Our walk takes us to a waterfall. It is the dry season, so it's not as impressive as it could be. Our stroll takes us back through town, overlooking the beach, where they have tables set up for the tourists and of course another bar and small restaurant. With nothing much to do here for an hour, we buy a $5 beer and just watch some of the native wildlife. The owner of this iguana was trying to have you take a picture with it, of course for a small fee. On the way back we took advantage of the open bar, so we were a little tipsy by the time we got back to the ship. Having some time to spare, we browsed through the local tour shops and made some questionable purchases. Our last day at sea, and we were selected to participate in the marriage game, their version of the newlywed game, and we, married for 22 years, were the youngest couple in the audience. That night was their chocolate extravaganza, with desserts everywhere. Disembarkation Day. We get a quick glimpse of San Diego, hoping we can come back and spend a little more time here. But right now, we've got to catch our plane home.